Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am Laser Dude. Welcome to the top 10 best movies of 2022. Yes, it has been a whole long time since I've done a top 10 best movies of the year list, and that's because when COVID hit, I didn't get to see that many movies of the year. If I saw 10, not all of the 10 were good, and I didn't want to make a list that I didn't think was made up of good movies. So, fortunately, this year I saw a whole bunch of movies, and I think at the very least, they deserve to be mentioned on the top 10 best movies of the year. 2022 is a year that it didn't have too many movies that were like the mind blowers or the things that like stole the show, but they had a few really good standouts. And so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the top 10 best movies of 2022.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 10. The Northman. This is a movie that, honestly, when I saw it, I didn't actually think it was going to end up making my list. Pretty much, I saw it pretty early in the year, and everyone was ranting and raving all about it and thinking it was like the most spectacular movie, and I'm like, alright, let's see it. And I watched it, and I like a lot of it, but it didn't blow me away like some of the other movies have. And it was a very predictable plot for me. I could predict every real story part coming, the plot twist about his mom and stuff like that, but I was intrigued about this one man's journey of revenge and how it had consumed him ever since he was a child, and how he would do anything to avenge his father. And you know what? I will admit that the cinematography and stuff for this movie was really great. They did actual camera shots and they didn't do a whole bunch of CGI. There was like a few weird things about it, like I still don't know what's going on with the gods in this movie. But there was also and William Dafoe scene. I'm like, what? This is probably doing something for historians, but for me, I'm just weirded out. But in any case, The Northman was still a very entertaining movie and good enough to go at number 10 on the list.
This is where the legend
Number 9.
begins.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This was the last movie I saw this year that I really I was wanting to fill out the list, and I was like, I feel like I have room for a couple more movies, and so I saw this one, and I really enjoyed it. I gotta say, out of all the Pinocchio movies that came out this year, I haven't seen them all, but I'm guessing this one takes the cake. And also, I gotta say, hats off to Guillermo del Toro, because he takes this story in places that most people would not, and and I don't know how much of it is straight from the book. It's possible that he has done a more faithful adaptation of the book than like the Disney films did. But there's stuff like Mussolini is in this film. Yeah, flippin' Mussolini, and I'm just like, what on earth are we doing here? This is like Hitler showing up in an animated movie. And it also took it in a different direction. This whole thing with Pinocchio being able to die, but every time he dies, he has to wait into this chamber a little bit longer, and not even having this whole real boy. I'm guessing the real boy thing is probably an invention as Disney. His more thing is he's trying to learn how to be a boy, but it's also a lot of pressures from the outside world. He has the temptation from the ringleader of the circus to go with him and to do the fun things, but realizing that he's denying the responsibilities and stuff like that. But then you have the other side of it where he goes to the military camp, and there it's like all about duty and responsibility and no time for fun. And in the end, Geppetto just wants to let him be a child. And you know what? Overall, the movie does a great job. Great animation all around. This is definitely one of the best animated movies of the year, and I definitely think you should check it out if you haven't already. If anything, it's definitely going to do better than what Pauly Shore Pinocchio. I mean, come on.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 8. Number 8 is Elvis the King. I'm moving my legs back and forth, but can't see it because the camera doesn't go that low. Elvis, this was a really good movie. I feel like this is the only time you're ever going to see Tom Hanks play a villain, and I think he does it pretty well. This whole story of Elvis and how he came up through the ranks and everything, and how his little leg twists threw off the whole world of music forever, and the contract that he was in through his manager, who basically had him underneath his thumb. This was really, it's a basic retelling of the Elvis story, and I think it does paint Elvis in possibly the best light it possibly could. Because we all know that Elvis stole from black music, but the movie has it more like he was like the respectful one, like he was the one who really got the music, and it was the executives that did all the bad things. Like, I'm sure Elvis did some underhanded things himself, paints him in a pretty positive light, but it does show his story of how he loses control and how he gets into substance abuse and all that. It does paint a lot of that onto his manager, though. And look, I'm no expert on the Elvis story. I don't know how much of it is just his manager. Maybe he was the nicest guy ever besides that. But you know what? In the end, I was thoroughly entertained by the story. I wanted to hear how it was going to end up, and I'm glad I watched it. And I think that the actor, I think he has an uphill battle to win Best Actor, but you know what? I still, part of me is rooting for him a little bit.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 7. Prey! This is, believe it or not, only the third Predator movie I've ever seen. Yeah, I've seen the original Predator, I've seen Predators, and I've seen Prey. And honestly, I gotta say, Prey is my favorite out of all of them. I think the reason for that is I really like the way that her character is handled throughout the film. She's not an invincible type hero like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's also not needlessly dark like Predators, or, they were all just terrible people in there, so it was like I wasn't rooting for any of them. Topher Grace is actually really good in that movie. But anyways, Prey, I really am with her on her journey, how everyone views down on her, and I feel like it handles it in the right way. Because there's so many movies that do this but are so over the top of it, like a woman can't hunt and whatever. And sometimes I think it's interesting because sometimes it comes out from an angle of caring. Her brother doesn't want to see her get hurt and stuff like that. But there are really good action set pieces that they do with it. As I said, there's that. I said in my review on The Woman King, where it's like she has an axe, but she has a rope to it, so she's throwing the axe and pulling it back to her, and those are handled really well. I like the way how she eventually outsmarts the Predator. That's really well done. The design of the Predator is actually really cool. I like the scenes where he's just like stalking its prey and everything. That's all really well done. Does it fall on a few cliches like, evil white people and, woman hear me roar? Sure, it does that a little bit. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but overall I think it works in this film. It's not overdone, it's not to the point where it's super preachy, and I'm with the character as more than just she's a woman hear me roar. She is someone who has a character arc, and she struggles, and she learns, and she adapts, and she goes on this journey, and that's why I think Prey is a really good movie.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 6. Wakanda Forever! Wakanda Forever is, or did I do it right? Someone put in the comments where it's like, it's this way, whichever way it is, I'm Wakanda Forever. Anyway, it's a movie that it was the most, out of all the superhero movies this year, except for one, I feel like this was the one I was looking forward to the most, just because it had the biggest uphill climb, but also it looked like it had the most potential. Obviously, I think it earned some of its potential as, even, this is like the first movie since, I guess, Joaquin Phoenix and Joker to have a superhero movie have an Oscar acting award nomination. Think about it. Besides, it's Heath Ledger as the Joker, it's Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, and now Angela Bassett in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So good on her and good on the movie. It's a well-done action film. I'm with the character throughout the journey. I feel like Shuri is someone who's really relatable, and I think that she took up the mantle that unfortunately was left to her from Chadwick Boseman, and she did it well. And I like how she had her make the role something of her own. She didn't just do everything the same Chadwick Boseman did. She attacks the thing from different angles, and the way she outsmarts the villain at the end is actually something that I wish more movies would do, where they use their wits and cunning to trap the villain, and I think that it did a really good job with it. It has some problems here and there, a few filler scenes and a few scenes that could drag on a little bit long, but overall I thought that Wakanda Forever was still a very enjoyable ride, one of the best parts of the newest phase of Marvel.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 5. However, I do think Wakanda Forever was outshadowed by a little film that was shown on Netflix or Disney Plus, Werewolf by Night. This is a movie, I don't really know what Marvel property it's based off of. I know that Man-Thing is in it. Beyond that, though, it's like just a weird horror-inspired little adventure with a bunch of different monster hunters going into this maze, and who knows who will come out alive, and there's a bunch of different mystery around all the characters, and it's slowly revealed in a nice, natural way. The action scenes are fun, the characters are inventive. I actually really like some of the reveals at the end, and it takes it in twists and turns, and just when you think it's going to go one way, it goes another. It's a short movie, it's not really all that long, but it's just the right length, and there's some disturbing images that really stick into my mind. I mean, the wind-up coffin, I'll just say that, and that is like, holy crap, that is one of the top image of the year for me, of or creepiest image or something like that, is that scene just with wind-up coffin. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely incredible. I actually really like the characters as well, especially since at the start you don't really know which ones you're going to be rooting for and which ones you're going to be rooting against. And then, as it slowly unwinds, you figure it out, but I think they have it in a way that's natural, and you're interested in the way it turns out, and yeah, just an all-around really great movie. Seriously, I think Marvel needs to do more stuff like this, you know, like get away from all the typical things that you've been doing over and over and over and over again. Start doing the weird, outlandish stuff like this. Start diving into the craziness of comics and just go all out with it. Because if you made a lot more stuff like this, then I wouldn't be that bored. Yeah, for most disappointing movie of the year, I gotta go with Thor: Love and Thunder. You know what? When I left this movie, I really didn't fully know how to feel. I was feeling a little meh on this. But overall, I was really disappointed with this film, I think. Especially because coming off of Ragnarok, that movie was so good. And I feel like this movie feels so rushed. I feel like there's a lot more ad-libbing in this movie. And it might have got them chuckling on set, but it didn't translate to film. The goats were annoying. The whole thing, like, there's parts I like. Christian Bale, every scene with him is actually really, really good. But the way they just made, like they made Thor humorous in Thor Ragnarok in a good way, but it didn't take away from his serious scenes. Here, every scene with him is like a joke, and it feels so over the top. And I'm like, come on, I don't really feel like this is one of the movies that dampened my excitement for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm just like, okay, that's just another thing that happened, whatever, I don't care anymore. It's really was a downer of a movie. I really hope this isn't Taika Waititi, backsliding. I really hope that this is a bunch of, studio pressure and stuff like that. I really hope that this isn't like he's losing his touch, because I hope he gets control of it. I think he's like under contract to do a Star Wars film trilogy or something like that. And if he is, I really hope that he takes his time with it, because this movie felt like it was so rushed. None of there's only like one action scene that really stands out, and one character arc that really stands out, and everything else is just meant to the... I mean, honestly, I might watch Thor: The Dark World over Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah. At least it had Loki.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 4. Highway to the danger zone. Take a roll right to the danger zone. Yeah, Top Gun Maverick. If you watch my videos, you will know that I actually watched the original Top Gun and then Top Gun Maverick back to back for the first times. You know, like I had never seen the original Top Gun, so I bought the DVD and then I watched it, and then I went to the movie theater and saw Top Gun Maverick right after. So it was a weird double feature for me, but I actually really enjoyed that. I could see the similarities, what they were paying homage to. I could see what was new, what they were doing with it, and how. Let's be honest here. The camera work for this movie is so incredible. Because they're using, not all the time obviously, but they're using actual jets. They're using actual jets and actual planes, and I'm just like, thank goodness. I was like thinking, it's like, when was the last time I saw a movie do that? Then I thought it was Dunkirk, because that wasn't too long ago. But actual jets, before that, I was like, well, I don't know, stealth? And beyond that, you know, the story does have some of the typical beats, like he's under the control of the commander who doesn't like the way that you don't follow the rules. You're a hot shot and stuff. But it has other stuff too. There's a couple of scenes with him and Iceman, Val Kilmer's character in here, and they're really good and they're really entertaining. Well, they're emotional, and I feel like their friendship is genuine and something that has been developed and whatnot. And I let's just be honest, Tom Cruise, all these years later, what is he, in his 60s by now? Maybe 70s even? I don't even know. But the guy still does action movies really, really well. He is the king of action movies. You know, Schwarzenegger had his time, Stallone had his day, but let's be honest, Tom Cruise will forever be the master of the action movie. Bar none, nobody else can top him, nobody else can touch him. He has that title, and I don't think he will ever be topped. At least the American action film, you know, I'm not talking about, you know, like a Kung Fu movie franchise actor or something like that. You know, they might be able to take a little step further or something, I don't know. Anyway, I'm saying Tom Cruise is great, he's amazing. There are some things that they kind of just swept under the rug, like his relationship in the first movie. I guess that doesn't really matter. We gotta get him with someone hot, and I'm sure the actress hasn't aged as well as Jennifer Connelly or something like that. But beyond that, I still find that Top Gun Maverick is a very enjoyable movie. This is what I would call the dad movie of the year. Yeah, this is the movie that every dad out there is gonna want to watch. This is like the Ford versus Ferrari, the Apollo 13 of this year. This is the movie that every dad is going to watch, and you know what? Me too.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 3. The Batman! Oh yeah, that's right. The Batman. You know, looking back, I was actually a little surprised I had this one this high on the list. Just because my review, I was a little bit all over the place. So I was like, but it has this, but it doesn't do this as well. Batman Begins with the Dark Knight, but it does this. And are we doing Joker again already? Come on. And my thoughts of it, I think, cleared up a little bit more. I haven't seen it again since the theater. But I think that as a whole, it does handle some things well, better than any other of the Batman movies in its past. I mean, be honest, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, I still think is better than the Michelle Pfeiffer or Anne Hathaway. I feel like she just feels more like the character as Catwoman. I mean, look, both Anne Hathaway and, you know, why am I forgetting both of their names? I just said one and the other. Both Anne Hathaway and Michelle Pfeiffer had assets of the character, right? But Michelle Pfeiffer was a little bit too deranged to play Catwoman, and Anne Hathaway was a little bit too, like, straight. I never really got the seductive part of her. It didn't really come off as natural. Where this movie, I feel like she's great at it. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, so great, absolutely spectacular. The cast that they have, different, like, even if they're not the best, like, Andy Serkis as Alfred, maybe not better than Michael Caine, but still great. You know, they have the guy who plays Gordon, maybe not be better than Gary Oldman, but he's still really good in this. And you know what, overall, the film, it felt like a comic book Gotham come to life. I feel like this is the most comic booky that it's really felt since Tim Burton's original Batman. Since that time, like, that was a movie that felt like it was comics come to the screen, and then a bunch of the other movies muddled, and Nolan was a little bit more real. So, but this movie, it has like the realism, but it also has the comic book feel as well. So I just had a really great time with it. I still don't like the Riddler's outfit, but overall, this is a really solid film, and third best of the year.
This is where the legend begins.
Number 2. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. You see, the key to Puss in Boots is it catches you off guard. You think, oh, it's just going to be a simple little film. Oh, look at the great animation. Oh, that's really cute. Oh, that's really spectacular. But still, voila. And then, oh my goodness, this wolf is creepy. Oh my gosh, I got chills. I'm going to stop the Antonio Banderas impersonation. It's turning into something else. But yeah, then once that scene happens, you're like on edge throughout the whole scene. And then other stuff happens that keeps on making you laugh and enjoy yourself, and then it hits you with a heart. There's emotional scenes and stuff that really gets you hooked into the characters as well. Puss in Boots is a really good film. Honestly, putting it in number 2 was like the no-brainer for me. I was just like, after I saw it, I came home and I started writing my list, and I just put it right there at number 2. You might think, oh, well, shouldn't it be number 1? You know what? I could see some people make the case for it being number 1. I could see the case being made that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the best movie of the year. Honestly, I've watched more reviews on it than anything else. I just love watching people heap praises on this movie, and it seems to be starting to get a little bit. It's gotten some momentum at the box office, so fortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be buried by the Avatar movie, who just surprise, it's not going to be on this list. I mean, you might be surprised, but if you watch my quick review, you shouldn't be that surprised. Not that I hated the movie, I just didn't feel like it was one of the year's best for me personally. One of the year's best effects, absolutely, should win the Oscar for best visual effects, but Puss in Boots, this was the movie for me that was just so engaging. It was funny, it was meaningful, it had a bunch of stuff that can speak to us in our daily life, but also just encourage us in our daily life to live our life to the fullest and respect the life that we got and to not waste it. And it's a really good movie. I'm giving it a hand. I've given it definitely. The award I would give it is best villain of the year. That's the award I would give it. Yeah, because there is some good villains, but I feel like movies nowadays are trying to shy away from villains. They're trying to be like, oh, we don't need to have villains, and if we do, we need to make them really, really sympathetic. You know what? Sometimes you can just have villains be utterly evil and despicable, okay? And that's okay. You don't need everybody to be a hero in their stories. You can have some people be bad. This movie had that with a bunch of the characters, especially like Jack Horner and the Wolf. Well, not that the Wolf is just bad, but you know what I mean? He was the main antagonist, and rightly so. Yeah, I'm just saying that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is a must-see. You gotta see this movie. It's so good, and it made it all the way to number 2.
Hello, darkness, my
The
old
worst
friend.
film of 2022
I've come
is...
to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping.
Lightyear. Now, I just want to say, this is not the worst movie of 2022. I'm sure there's a lot more that are worse. Like, I've heard a lot of bad things about Jurassic World Dominion. That probably was a whole lot worse. There's probably a lot worse movies, but honestly, I didn't see that many movies this year that I didn't have that much interest in. Honestly, like, I was gonna see Black Adam, then I looked at the reviews and they said, this movie is worse than Morbius, and I'm like, do I want to spend money on something that's going to be bad? I don't really, you know, I don't have enough money to throw away to the wind, you know, so I don't want to spend money on something that's gonna suck. You know, I want to at least have an invested interest in this sort of thing. So yeah, Lightyear was the only movie that I saw that I really didn't enjoy all that much. I thought it was pandering. I thought it was nothing like the Lightyear character should be. I thought the future Buzz, I mean spoilers, but the future Buzz as Zurg was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I thought, like, oh my gosh, just get out of here with this. This is nothing good. I feel like it was a waste of time. That's the one thing I don't want to have in a movie theater. I don't want to have my time wasted. You know, I could watch a really bad movie, and if I'm having fun with it, I'll enjoy at least that I'm making fun of it along the way. But with a movie that is just this bland and really has nothing to offer after the first 10 minutes, and I can't remember half the movie at all except for the really bad parts, and that is not something that you should be really having in your movie movie. But still, out of all the movies I saw this year, Lightyear was the worst.
This is where the
And the best movie of 2022 is... Everything, Everywhere, All at Once! Yes, that's right. This is the best movie of the year, bar none. I just saw all the Oscar nominations. I believe it got 11 award nominations. It should get all of them. Well, it can't get all of them because 2 of the best supporting actresses are, you know, there's 2 best supporting actresses, so they both can't win. But, you know, I just every category that's nominated, I hope it wins them all. Just because it's just such an amazing achievement. Michelle Yeoh is good. I'm going to look up all the actors' names. Michelle Yeoh is great lead. Ke Huy Quan is amazing. I honestly think out of all the awards that Everything Everywhere All at Once has, I honestly think he should win for Best Supporting Actor 100%. Stephanie Hsu, she is great. Jamie Lee Curtis, she's great. James Hong is great. Everybody is great in this movie. It is such an amazing, achievement in filmmaking. There's just this one scene that is just showing a thing from Michelle Yeoh's character from all the different universes in the multiverse, and it's just a frame. Most of them are just a frame long, but it's a different world and a different setup and a different thing, and it keeps going, and I'm just like, the hours of work and creativity behind each and every one of these frame seconds, less than a second of a shot, is mind-blowing to me. So I gotta give Everything Everywhere All at Once the #1 title, Best Movie of the Year. It better win Best Picture. There hasn't been a whole lot of this movie. There are a few movies that I haven't seen yet that I kind of want to see. The Banshees of Inisherin, that I still want to see. A few of the Best Picture nominations I still haven't seen yet. But out of everything, I still say Everything Everywhere All at Once is the best movie of 2023. So that's what I believe. If you want to let me know what is your best movie of 2022, leave a comment down below. And hey, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great 2023. Hope the movies this year are even better. Not that these ones are bad, but always up and over. Bye. Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.